Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today I have a first impression and unboxing. So it's another twofer video. And the first impression that we're going to talk about, I'm still slowly working my way through these samples that Russian Adam sent to me. This is called War and Peace, the original War and Peace. Which there's also a War and Peace 2, which I did not get, so I'm not going to be able to do a comparison video. But let me just tell you guys, most of the time my routine is I'll spray on a fragrance, I'll go get a cup of coffee, I'll kind of sit down and, slowly ease my way into the day. I sprayed this on today and I just had to sit down. I mean, I just almost had to sit down in awe of this fragrance. Like, it just hit me like a freight train. And so I've got about let's see, 5.5 hour dry down here, 5.5 hours. And then I just did a fresh spray for you guys so I could go through the top notes again. And I'm reading about the fragrance, and it's funny because I keep hearing these people say this is extremely challenging to wear. Big blast of civet in the opening, hard to wear. I don't get that. I mean, there's obviously animalics. I'll run through the notes, but I think this smells divine. This is absolutely gorgeous. It is a musk-based fragrance, okay? That's the star of the show, I think, is the natural musk, which, by the way, he has done 2 other natural musk fragrances. One called Siberian Musk. The other called Siberian Musk 2, which I will do a comparison video between these two for you guys one day. And then I have a lot of experience with natural musk fragrances because of this. This is Musk Habib from Bortnikov, and this is one of my favorite natural musk fragrances of all time. And I'll tell you what, natural musk just gives off this very religious, almost like a religious experience, like it's something that's so beautiful and so natural that the synthetic musk just cannot recreate it. Everyone thinks that the real ingredients, like for example, the real civet, would be even more insanely animalic, and it's not. It's the opposite. The synthetic civet, which this one does have synthetic civet in it, but my point is that the synthetic ingredients are actually usually tougher to wear than the real thing. The real thing is, it's beautiful. It's just one of the most beautiful natural musk in its real proper form. Smelling it from the Areej Doré, smelling it from the Bortnikovs. One of the most beautiful materials ever. It almost ruins the musk you're used to smelling, the synthetic musk. It literally almost ruins it. But let's talk about this fragrance, because the opening that everyone says is so challenging and daring, I don't get that. I get one of the most beautiful iris openings, not lipsticky. Okay, so don't think about the lipstick iris in like Dior Homme. Think about the iris in something like Queer Canage by Dior. If you've ever smelled Queer Canage, that has a very distinct iris accord, and you get this iris blast in the opening with, so here's the top notes: 35 million year old amber resin. I mean, how do they know it's 35 million years and not 33 million years? I have no clue how that's dated. There's probably some high-tech scientific work being done in the background that I'm not aware of. But 35 million year old amber resins. Now, the heart goes to a note called Rue Gulab, which I think Rue Gulab stands for almost like the essence of rose water or something like that. I think it's a blend of different types of roses. Parfumo, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But Parfumo shows in Indian rose and Taif rose, and Fragrantica shows Damask rose and Taif rose. So if there is Taif rose, it does make sense. I have some experience with Taif rose. I've shown this before. This is one of my favorite rose fragrances of all time, but you have to get this version, the Extrait. If you get the original, just the regular Paris Monte Carlo, it's nowhere near as beautiful as the Extrait. This is this gorgeous lemony rose. And Taif rose is only harvested in the Taif territory of Saudi Arabia. And it's like a big event. And it basically gives off this almost like lemony, powdery tea, almost like a tea-like vibe. So it is a distinct smell, and that powderiness from the Taif rose is mixing with the powderiness from the orris root to make it extremely attractive. So even though this is obviously a scent with beautiful materials, natural Siberian deer musk in the base, what Russian Adam calls co-absolute of deer musk. I don't know what that necessarily is. But it's real deer musk, and the real deer musk, which is the star of the show, mixes with that rue gulab, let's call it, and Indian patchouli, and then orris root absolute to give a very wearable fragrance. This is one of the most, I think this is even more wearable for me personally than Siberian musk. Believe it or not, I think it's more wearable because I really like that. I'm a huge iris lover. I love iris. I love orris absolute. Anything that involves the iris bulb, any iris fragrance, I'm a fan of a lot of times. I love what it brings to a fragrance, and the orris absolute here is breathtakingly beautiful. I mean, it literally will take your breath away. It's so good. I went to the post office today, and just sitting in the car, I was just constantly smelling myself from the application on my left hand earlier. It really does last. Now, the challenging part for some people may be that there is castoreum. So it says ambergris and castoreum made by Russian Adam. So obviously, I'm guessing it's real castoreum that they made a tincture out of, and real ambergris that they made a tincture out of, and Indonesian vetiver absolute. So the vetiver is the base. It's part of the fixative materials with the ambergris, and then synthetic civet and amber resin oil. And so, I mean, this fragrance, I don't even know if I have the words to really talk about it, because for the first time I'm wearing it, experiencing it. I absolutely love it. It goes to show, I mentioned how much I really liked Ottoman Empire, which ended up being Ottoman Empire 2, not the original Ottoman Empire, but I did a first impression of it on my channel. And Russian Adam's earlier work, I'm going to lump this in with the earlier work. I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of these that I've had a chance to try. It was the newer stuff, like Gardenia and the ones from that collection that I sampled that I really wasn't the biggest fan of. But I think he was trying to maybe use a lot of just nothing but natural ingredients, and that's a very tough thing to do. There needs to be some synthetics to kind of hold everything together. Here, it's the synthetic civet, I think. But the muskiness with the animalics and the iris, and then that beautiful rose. I mean, rose has been used in perfumery for thousands of years, going back to the Roman times. Rose in perfumery is nothing new. In fact, there's an old saying that if you're wearing a perfume, you're wearing a rose perfume, because there's rose in just about everything. But here it's just done so beautifully. Whatever it is, whether it's Indian rose, Taif rose, rue gulab, whatever they want to call it, I'm not advanced enough to go into the details and break down the specific type of rose, but I will tell you that it is really beautiful. It is fantastic. It's like musky, animalic version of the most beautiful iris fragrance you could ever imagine. The iris in this is top notch. I can't think of. I mean, I love Dior Homme, the silver stem that I have. That's one of my favorite iris fragrances to wear. I love Valentino Uomo Intense. I really enjoy wearing stuff like that. But this is on another level. I mean, this is far and above anything that you could ever buy at a department store. It's obviously, the materials are top notch. And so pros and cons. Obviously, the pro is that this is expertly crafted. Attention to detail is definitely there. Materials are top notch, as you would expect from an Areej Doré release. And the smell to me is forget the notes, what it creates, the aura. There obviously is the deer musk, the castoreum, the ambergris, all the animalics that are rare and we love as fragrance heads. But the impression that this makes is, this is one of those rare fragrances that just kind of supersedes age or categorization or trying to put it in a box. I think I could wear this in the dead of summer, and I think I could wear this in the dead of winter. I think I could wear this around the house like I'm doing today, working from home, and I think I could wear this to a black tie event. This is literally one of those fragrances that would be a dumb reach for me. If money was zero issues, I would love to have 10 bottles of this stuff and just spray it on whenever. It's that beautiful to me. The mixture of everything, the impression that it leaves. I mean, if someone smells this on you, they're going to be, they're going to stop in their tracks. They're not going to know what hit them. This is so outside of the usual that people are smelling. It's so different, and yet it's also so alluring, at least to me. And maybe that's because my nose has been smelling hundreds, thousands of fragrances over the years. Maybe the average person would smell it, and like the people on Parfumo say, this is challenging to wear, this is animalic. I don't know, but for me, it's a pure love, pure love. Now, the downside is these are impossible to find unless you're willing to pay scalper money on eBay. They're very limited releases, and so the people who bought them originally and then put them on eBay for 2, 3, 4, 5 times the price, that's the only way you're going to get a bottle of this nowadays. It's so good. It is really amazing. I can't speak to longevity projection because it's only been on my skin, like I said, about 5.5 hours. But it seems like it's going strong, and this is a joy to experience. So Russian Atom, thank you very much for sending these to me. I still have some more to do. Obviously, I haven't gone through them all. I'm taking my time. I do apologize. The dry down, if it seems like it's really holding its own, that it doesn't fall apart in the dry down or anything. The composition really develops nicely, and you can enjoy kind of as the hours tick by, it's something that you can just really sit there. It's almost like, sitting and looking at a fine painting or something that's really detailed. You have to sit down, spend the hours, spend the time, look at it, look at the details, think about what it means, think about what the artist was trying to portray. That kind of vibe. That's what this is. I mean, this truly is. Everyone says they want art in a bottle. This is art in a bottle. This is the kind of fragrance that invokes You know, those kind of those kind of ideas to me. Making something unique and revolutionary and all that stuff. I mean, this is it. His early stuff is absolutely stunning. Ottoman Empire, War and Peace. Forgot the name for a second there. I would love to try the second one as well. So would I buy a bottle? Absolutely. Would I spend $1,000 on a bottle? Absolutely not. I would love to have a bottle, but you know, because the effect that it creates is amazing. By the way, there's one other thing I should mention. And the other thing that I should mention is the castoreum in the base almost gives off this leathery like effect. So you have this, I mentioned the musk being very prominent, and it is. This is definitely a musk-based fragrance in my mind. Musk and iris kind of dominate here, but the base with that castoreum really gives off, you know, castoreum in the old 80s, excuse me, fragrances that I love. It's used to build that leather accord. It's part of the process. Castoreum can be animalic and it can give off that twang, but if it can also become very leathery. And here it becomes very leathery as the hours dry down. And so, you know, I'm a big fan. You're right up my alley. High class Orris Root Absolute. Leather, castoreum, civet, you know, patchouli, I mean, amber. It's a beautiful composition. I'm a big fan. And, you know, it's a shame this will give me a wear or two. Maybe I'll stumble across the bottle one day. Who knows? But that's definitely one of the good ones. I can see why people call this masterpiece and, you know, art in a bottle, stuff like that. It's worthy. Just like Ottoman Empire is worthy. But that leatheriness in the base is important because it's part of the whole composition. That War and Peace maybe dichotomy of beautiful, you know, notes like I mentioned the rose and the iris, but then more animalic notes, the castoreum, the civet. It really is a juxtaposition of War and Peace. Maybe that's what he was going for, but it's beautiful. It works. It works for me. I would totally rock this. Absolutely. I would rock this and love every second of it. So that's part one, War and Peace. I want to talk to you guys about that. It's a shame I'm talking about a fragrance that no one will be able to go get, but at least if you're like me, maybe you can put it on the radar and maybe one day you'll stumble across a bottle, a partial, a sample, you know, I don't know, but it would be great if you could get your nose on that. All right, so now we're going to do this unboxing. And this is a bunch of fragrances that I came about from a insider in the fragrance community, a subscriber of my channel, actually. And I like buying fragrances from people in the community. You know, I like to try to keep things like that in-house, if you will. And so he had some good prices, fair prices. And so I wanted to pick a couple things up. Most of these are backups. So you've seen them before on my channel. Backups are the sickness that there is no cure for. We probably don't need backups when you have 600 bottles, but here we are. Here I am buying backups. So the first one I'm going to show you is from the house of Montana, and this is Parfum Dome. Now, I basically have 3 versions of this. Let me grab my bottle. Okay, here we go. So I have 3 versions of this now, because there's also a 30 ml of the original Made in France version. This is the Selective Beauty Made in Italy version, which I just got from him. And then I have the Empire of Scents version, which is made in France. I don't know if you can see that. So I think this is made in France. It's hard to tell. I think it's made in France. And then we have the Red Box 30 ml version. Let me just open this bad boy here real quick. Okay, so this is the original, by the way. Let's see, there's a small ingredient list right there. So you can see the short ingredient list, and this 30 ml. Claude Montana Parfum Dome. Made in France. Okay, well, there you have it. So there's 3 different iterations of this. I think this is the oldest. I think that this Selective Beauty one made in Italy is actually the middle bottle. And I think that this version, this Empire of Scents, I think this is the newest one. But I could be wrong. They definitely smell different from the atomizers, so I will do a comparison video for you guys. You can see this one definitely looks the oldest from the atomizer there. There's the little one, Atomizer 1, Atomizer 2, and Atomizer 3. So there you have it. 3 different versions. I'll do a comparison video for you guys one day soon. So Montana is one of them. The second one came from wearing it the other day as my scent of the day and realizing I only had about half a bottle. And, you know, prices on these are getting kind of insane. There's rumors that it's discontinued. So I had to pick up a backup. And I got it for a good price, so I figured what the hey. This is Bois Mysterio. And Bois Mysterio and Songe d'un Bois de Et are basically the same fragrance. I've smelled this version before. I honestly probably couldn't tell much of a difference. Even though I'm big into, you know, reformulations and distributors and stuff like that. Guerlain is big into repackaging stuff, renaming stuff, and then putting it back out. Either way, if this is going to be discontinued for good, I had to have a bottle because this is one of my favorite of the Desert Gems, or whatever they call it, Absolutes d'Orient. And then finally, the final one, which is another discontinued fragrance. Go figure. At least I think it is. I think Parfumo says it's discontinued, but I'm not 100% sure. I just know I really like this house. There is a... there's a couple fragrances from this house that I have, like Marbert Man, Marbert Gentleman, and this is Marbert Homme. And Marbert Homme is, let's see, this is unopened. Let's unbox this, shall we? Marbert Homme. I actually know nothing about this other than, I know nothing about this other than that I like the brand. And so I'm kind of hunting down some similar hunting down some similar fragrances I don't own from the brand. So there you go. Made in Germany, Marbert Alm. And let's see what Parfumo has to say. In the black bottle, 1988. My kind of year. The production was apparently discontinued. So there you go. Bergamot, lime, spices, galbanum in the top, vetiver, sandalwood, patchouli, and Virginia cedar in the heart. And then the base is oak moss and amber. So masculine from the 80s. Now I have it in my collection, and I got a pretty good deal on these bottles. So the Montanas will give me a chance to do comparison videos, and the Bois Mysterio is a backup, which I'm very glad to have. And then the Marbert Alm is a continuation of a line that I'm really loving. Marbert Man is one of my favorites of, you know, one of the best honey frags I've ever smelled. Absolutely beautiful. So this is a gift. This one's created by Selective Beauty. Gift to find this at such a good price. Thank you, Sticks, for working with me. Thank you, Russian Adam, for sending me the sample. I hope you guys enjoyed the first impression and unboxing. And we'll make this a short video by Ramsey standards. So thanks for sticking around and watching, guys. A like and a subscription always helps, but obviously you don't have to. And see you again tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.